Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. I only want to take a look at the shorter time frame in this video. Solana is so far in a pullback. Okay, pulled back after yesterday's rapid breakout to the upside. I mentioned in the Bitcoin video already, more important than the initial move is oftentimes the pullback that follows. So it will be very interesting to see if the bulls can defend relevant micro support, which we'll talk about right now. Quick rewind, where do we come from? So obviously we've had this correction that started already in January. We have, in my opinion, 3-wave move down, even though for a C wave down, which this probably is after a B wave top, we would like to see 5 waves down. This move down is, however, extended enough to be called a 5-wave move. You can easily count it 5 waves. I think it counts better as 3. All that means is we have to be mindful that the price could form one more low. Yeah, but I want to share with you a few things here which might be relevant. So the price landed in larger support and has reacted. We've seen that. The move down was strong enough to keep it, to let's say have it a really give it a really oversold reading. So it was a really oversold market. That sort of changed a bit now. And I mentioned to you that if we get a rebound, it would likely be either a wave 4 in the yellow count here, this wave 4, or maybe already a breakout. We don't know that yet, because if you watch previous videos, then you'll know that the rebound was expected to be quite substantial. Now there was the catalyst for that, yeah, that led to some volatility, but it did just what it needed to do. So the idea was that from here a 4th wave is due, and the 4th wave would likely be quite aggressive. That's why the resistance area is all the way up to $202, because we have to give it that space, yeah, even in a short-term bearish count. So that means both bullish and bearish ones were actually aligned for some very short-term upside, which is good to see. So that played out. Now, after we've hit resistance, we need to see if the price can form 5 waves up. And I'm going to zoom in a minute. I just want to make sure that it's clear that as long as we don't get a 5-wave move up that breaks above $202, the risk for one more low is high. And if there is another low, $120, $110, $103 are the next support levels. But we should only focus on that once we get a decisive break below micro support. Also, before we really zoom in much further, there could be a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Okay? But that might just be the 5th wave that plays out and then fake out. But it's just something I see. Okay, so we had an initial micro 5-wave move up from the February low. That was reason enough to say I'm rather looking for higher in the very short term. Then we saw here this correction. Price landed in the micro support area. These are typically the areas where it can be reasonable to watch for entries. A long entry, it's a support area, it's a 1-2 setup, it's potentially bullish. So anywhere from this region, the price can turn around to the upside. That's typically why I share them. Yep, you never know if the price will test lower range, lower areas or whatever. Probabilities for those micro patterns really change in real time. And it might have been that it would have tested a little bit lower, but then we had a catalyst on Sunday, right? And the market sentiment was already there because the pullback was already in the support area. It was deep enough to be considered all of wave 2. So we then had a rally. The price reached first ideal target for a 3rd wave like magic. The 138% extension is typically the first ideal target for a 3rd wave. Reached. Then I shared with you support for wave 4, and that's where we are now. So if we get another high, then this would be more bullish, even more clearly bullish. And it would indicate that the price, not only on the smallest time frame, but also on the larger time frame, is starting to look up again. Yeah. So we need one more high at least, I would say, at least. And that means next upside target, 187.46, 193.41, maybe even $201 for this 5th wave. If it breaks below the intraday low, however, there's a good chance it will completely break down. That's the problem. It's quite a sharp pullback. I don't like that, but understandable after a surge yesterday. So it's this pullback that will really make or break the idea of an upside impulse in the white scenario. Once we get all 5 waves completed, we can again call that wave 1, and then the subsequent pullback would be, oops, my mouse, would be a wave 2 and could be a jump off point for a third wave rally. Yeah, so that might be then on the larger time frame. The next setup, basically what we had here in small, which worked out as a long trade setup, in large. Yeah, 1-2 setups are typically the most aggressive and not only aggressive, the most attractive ones. So yeah, that is what I am tracking right now. So essentially micro support is clear. It needs to hold really the intraday low to keep the idea of an upside impulse alive. Okay, below that it might be a diagonal, but it shouldn't really be a diagonal because this is a 5-wave move, and diagonals are typically not based on 5 up and then 3 up or something, so it just doesn't fully work. But yeah, ideally it holds that last low. So pretty much for an impulse, last opportunity for the bulls to turn up. If we break below it, it is not a guarantee it breaks down completely, but it will mess it up. And then we have to think about, okay, what could it be? Is this wave 4 over? I mean, that will open lots of other questions, or will expose us to lots of other questions that we have to deal with then. But for now, micro support is clear. I will remove the lower support. We don't need that anymore. And the next upside levels are clear. Inverse head and shoulders was mentioned. Yeah, so hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.